Valentine's Day, 1949. A nice night to be alone. Of course, you're never really alone when you're with your thoughts, are you? You're not alone if you've got one cigarette, and you're definitely not alone if there's an unexpected knock at the door.
The first time you call on a private eye is always the most frightening. A murdered husband, some stolen jewels, whatever it is. It feels like the whole world is crashing all around you and you're just a test dummy without a seatbelt.
A likely story, and just one of many, all equally likely in a great anthology of this stinking city. I'd heard it all before. Even if I hadn't, I could see it written across her face, plain as daylight streaming through Venetian blinds. Murder.
Detectives all think they're clever, but you can read them like an open book, with extra large print. And pictures. The first thing they always do is size you up, and I could feel my measurements being taken on the spot.
She had legs like a gunshot, long and deadly and still ringing in your ears long after you've tried to forget them. This bird was dangerous, like a falcon. She could see right through me, like a falcon with X-ray vision. I knew I had to play my cards right.
Everything's a game to a PI. They play by their own rules and then break them anyway just to prove they can. Well, I'm not here to play games. I'm here to figure out a murder, but my ace detective is looking more like an ace-high nothing. One more bad metaphor about my legs and I'll give him a real gunshot to worry about.
I was starting to suspect this dame wasn't like the others.
It took him long enough to get a clue.
And I knew I was in love.
Jesus Christ.
It hit me like a brick wall with a mean left hook, and before I knew it, I was head over heels.
In that moment, I had to admit, he wasn't so bad himself. Was I in love with him? Honestly, I don't know what love is anymore. He was something, though, no matter which way his head and his heels went.
And there it was again. It was more than just love I was feeling. Love's a cheap trick you pick up on the playground. Love doesn't make you feel like someone can hear every word you're saying.
As much as I hated to admit it, the detective had a point.
It was about time I got some recognition from this bird.
I wasn't finished. I couldn't shake the feeling this PI already had me talking, and without even buying me a drink first.
I never meant to presume anything about her character, of course. She came here for help, and I meant to give it to her.
If he did a good job, I might even let him give it to me again. I knew I was being irresponsible, but in the moment I just couldn't seem to care.
So she was softening after all. I'll solve the murder all right, but I couldn't do anything about it right now. The stores are all closed and the witnesses asleep. What would anybody be able to do on a night like tonight? It's Valentine's Day, after all.
There was only one witness he could examine, and we both knew it. The question was whether I felt like being examined.
A woman I loved once said any detective can be read like an open book. As the night crept around us like a thief with a stolen heart, I found myself wishing I could read her half as well.
I don't think he realized how long he'd been staring at me, trying to get a read on me, no doubt. But maybe I didn't feel like being read. Maybe I liked playing games after all.
She hadn't said a word to me since she walked in here, but somehow I knew everything I needed to. She wanted me, like a flower wants the rain, even if it'll drown her.
I didn't know what that meant, but I had already decided I didn't care.
The way she looked at me right then, I could live forever in those moments.
Right then, I wanted to kiss him.
Right then, I knew she wanted to kiss me.
And I knew he wanted to kiss me too.
I was getting to that.
We were almost nose to nose. I could smell the scent of his cologne filling my lungs, and I knew he was the one.
Her lips were soft and inviting, like a shared bed after a long night alone.
So many nights alone.
But not this one.
I pulled away before our lips touched. I wanted to tell him I was sorry.
I wanted to tell her there was nothing to be sorry for.
I wanted to say, no, not for that. For the murder.
I looked at her. I didn't understand.
He didn't know it, but I didn't need him to solve who the killer was, just so I could decide who the victim would be. And like I said, I was certain he was the one.
A gunshot hit me like a gunshot. All fire and smoke and... bullet. I guess that bird got me pretty good. One story I hadn't heard, after all. And the most unlikely of all of them.